Any final thoughts about Destroyer as a piece of art that you helped create?
It was just a fantastic project, and I knew we had a hit. There was no question. I mean, when you're working on something, you know, when I was working with John Lennon, we did Whatever Gets You Through the Night, you know, and I thought that song was okay. I never in my wildest imagination thought that it would be better than, it would sell better than Imagine. But it did. Imagine only went to number 3, and that was, and Whatever Gets You Through the Night was number 1, which kind of threw me for a loop because I couldn't believe that. But when I was working with Destroyer, I knew that record was going to kill, was going to just, you know, nail the listener to the floor squealing. You know, that's the only way I could put it. It would just nail the listener to the floor squealing. Wow, this is energy. This is color. This is cinematography. This is incredible. This is in your face. This is big. This is the way records should sound. Before that, records didn't sound that big. It's 3 steps and a hop above everything else that was out there for the genre that it was in. I mean, we're talking hard rock in your face, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You know, you can't compare that to Clapton. You can't compare that to Hendrix. For what it was killer, you know. And Back in Black by AC/DC was another record which came much later that just blew me away. That was energy. That's on the same level as Destroyer, but it's, you know, it's more modern, you know, because it came out with different techniques and what do you call it? There was only a few people who made records that really stood out. It was Mutt Lange, Bob Ezrin, and Roy Thomas Baker back then.
Right.
Those 3 guys, when they made records, you had to sit up and listen.
Right, and I even think, except for minor moments on The Wall, which I love, and definitely as Ezrin-like, I don't think Bob has ever had anything that big and in your face. That does sound like you're in this huge Radio City Music Hall watching something on a huge 400-foot screen coming at you. It was perfect for Kiss. If anything, it more or less did what Kiss always wanted, which was to capture their live sound. It sounds like you're at a show. It really does. It sounds like you're at a theater.
You know what? They bitched, James. They bitched and moaned that no album, even when I was doing
Rock and Roll Over, yeah.
But when we do Rock and Roll Over
right.
or Love Gun, they were still bitching and moaning that they can't capture. They still haven't captured the sound of Kiss the way it sounds on stage. You know, even after we did, you know, the Nanuet Star Theater and that, I thought, if anything, Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over kind of really gave them what they wanted. But, you know, I have many times stood on the stage with them, and, you know, not on the stage, but I was on the side of the stage, and the volume and the crushing sound that comes out, you know, you can't record that. I mean, you know, it's just like the explosions that go off on their show. You could be 50 rows back and you'll feel the heat. You can't do that on a CD or an album. Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over came as close as anybody has ever come
right.
to making that sound happen.